During times like this, during times when prices go down, when our money is suddenly evaporating, it makes sense to look a bit more at the macro picture. It makes sense to zoom out. There is a saying, right? When in doubt, zoom out. And this is what we're going to do in this video. Because in the end, there is the overarching macro cycle, there is the even bigger adoption cycle, and then there is the daily ups and downs. And what's very important is to keep track of what happens long term as well. Have a look at this chart here. This is the 10-year plus hodl wave of Bitcoin. So how much percent of Bitcoin have not moved in the last 10 years? And chances are that a lot of those Bitcoin have been lost. Not all of them, right? We saw this move in May of 2024, where some of those Bitcoin got moved. But in general, there is a strong argument to be made that this chart will continue to go up over time. Currently, 17% of Bitcoin has not moved in the last 10 years. Now this curve looks quite different once we look at the minimum holding duration of 5 years. Here we see way more frequently how this line sometimes goes down. Over time, it's of course also increasing. And we've already seen how 17% is probably lost. The other 14%, so in total 31%, are used more actively. So probably to a degree, a lot of those Bitcoin are simply just in the hands of the long-term investor. When prices are extremely heated, when they go up a lot, then some of those Bitcoin do move. But even during the move from 5K all the way to 60K, we didn't see profit taking. So in general, this also tends to go up. Now, why does that matter? It matters because it shows us that there is still long-term adoption. There are more and more investors allocating to Bitcoin that are not actively trading. They're simply just buying and holding long-term to protect, for example, against monetary debasement. And as there are more and more Bitcoin in those long-term investors' hands, and those investors in aggregate tend to not distribute, we are seeing that all of the liquid supply tends to shrink over time. A less liquid supply of an asset over time, plus an expanding fiat currency base, means of course that the fiat price, very long term, of Bitcoin should continue to increase. And that's the beauty of the blockchain, right? We can just have a look at those kind of charts regularly. And if then in 2 or 3 years we don't see charts like this going up anymore, that's the point in time where it might make sense to potentially look for the next Bitcoin. Bitcoin might not be around in the next 100 years. It might die at some point, but currently it's very far away from that. Currently it still sees more and more adoption. The liquid Bitcoin gets less and to get the full length video, feel free to simply subscribe over here. Then you get it recommended by the algorithm.